Chapter 4. Your Legend Grows. The Cove. A place to escape from all your worries and woes, whether you are a pirate, a soldier, a sailor, or just needing a good night of forgetting the past. The Cove was a small village port, hidden away on an island not on anyone's maps. It was only through word of mouth that you found this place. It had several docks and a dozen buildings, most were taverns, but you could find goods, black market items, and time with a female companion if you were in need. There was a code of the Cove. Everyone gets along, and no one sells another out. Unless they really have it coming. The Cove took care of its own. Soldiers, though few were allowed, and many of those were in the Queen's Navy, had drunk their way out of a bad day alongside pirates and others whom they may have been chasing just weeks before. There were fights, there were murders, there were thefts, but you never tried to take a man's ship or use this location as a vantage point to take out an enemy. It was neutral ground for pleasure and business. It survived this way because people, both good and bad, accepted the opportunity to all enjoy a warm meal, good drink, and get whatever you needed, at a lower cost than ports run by the Queen's Navy. James and his small band of pirates walked the boardwalk, eager to forget yesterday's weak attempt at piracy. There was always new information and gossip here in the Cove, and spending time in a tavern was always fun, or at least productive, to relax and regroup. "Shall we visit the Salty Dog, Captain?" Father Bob asked. "No, not today. I am thinking we hit the Dead Reef," Hook said. His men stopped walking as he strolled ahead. He then realized he was alone and turned around. "What's wrong with the Dead Reef? It's better than the Crow's Nest, right?" he asked. "They don't like us, and it's where the most violent, bloodthirsty pirates go," the Spaniard said. "Exactly. So we need to learn from them, be around them. They may share secrets or know of some great opportunities," replied Hook. "Or they may just beat us and force us out at gunpoint again," Father Bob said. "That was a misunderstanding, and several months ago. Plus, we have taken from the Queen's Navy several times. I am sure they will accept us with open arms," Hook said convincingly. 5 minutes later, the men stood in the doorway of the seedy tavern. They stood just inches from the bar. The barkeeper had a scar on his cheek, thinning hair, and his hands looked like they were made of stone. He looked the group over.
"Get out,"
he ordered. "We have money," James announced. "We can pay." He held up a gold coin. The bartender looked around at his other customers, a dark lot of pirates from all parts of the Seven Seas. Many ignored the small group and just talked amongst themselves and drank. Hook slid 2 silver coins onto the bar. The bartender shook his head, but pulled 2 bottles from under the bar.
"One drink, then you and the others leave. I can't have James the Hair Maiden Hook bringing down our establishment."
"Hair Maiden?" James asked.
"Have your drink and go. I only gave charity today because it's my birthday, so I'm in good spirits."
Father Bob took James by the arm and pulled him back as Black Jack Morgan, the Spaniard, and Drake found a table in the corner. "Hair Maiden," James muttered. "How hard is it to have people respect you as a pirate if they don't understand your name, or at least try the name you have given yourself?" James sank down on a wooden stool. "Hey, at least they have given you a name," Father Bob said. "That's something." He ran his hand over his balding head. "At least you have fine hair." Hook looked around the dimly lit tavern. The men here had dark eyes, angry eyes, soulless eyes. He looked back to his small group of men. They had tired eyes, but life was still in them. Maybe he was wrong about being such a man. Black Jack looked down at James.
"He keeps looking at you,"
he grunted. "Who?" James asked.
"The shark. Captain Huxley."
Captain Huxley was a notorious pirate with a crew of over 50 men and 3 ships. Huxley had made the English fleet and some French ships flee from just seeing his red and black flag flying high in the air. His reputation was as dark as the flags he sailed under. James slowly looked over his shoulder, trying to appear nonchalant, but then made the mistake of making eye contact with the shark. James froze. Captain Huxley was tall, lean, with a full salt and pepper beard, set in beads. He wore all black with small patches of leather armor attached to his pants and vest. He always looked like he was going into battle. He moved his hands with a gesture, and the men at his table dispersed, and they went to the bar. He signaled to Hook.
"He wants me to join him,"
James said as his voice squeaked a bit.
"Well, do not keep him, or he may run us all through with his saber,"
Father Bob said.
"I told you this was a bad idea."
Hook swallowed hard but stood up, adjusted his white shirt, and walked over to the pirate's table. Captain Huxley pointed to the seat. James sat quickly. Captain Huxley looked him over for several seconds. James could not make eye contact, but looked over the shark's shoulder and cleared his throat. Captain Huxley spoke.
"You are not a pirate. You do not belong in my tavern."
"I am a pirate. I have stolen from the Queen's Navy. Nearly 6 times now?" Hook objected. "All right, think we got enough?"
"Yes, indeed. Your actions are well known. Stealing crumbs off the floor before the dogs can lap them up. How many men have you killed?"
Huxley asked. "I have killed men. I believe nearly a dozen. But some may have lived. There was this one. I think he died. At least, he yelled a lot after I stabbed him. Well, in the Navy, I did kill several, but that's before, I became a pirate. So, don't like to brag about those. Doing my duty," James noted, still not looking at Huxley.
"I killed 8 yesterday before noon. You are not a pirate. You need to look for something else. Open a tailor shop. Maybe work for the port or as a fisherman. You have a boat. Put nets on it and fish. You claiming to be a pirate and stealing from the Queen, bringing more soldiers around, only makes us real pirates look foolish."
"Why can't I say I'm a pirate? I know what I like to do," James pouted.
"Do you like killing men?"
Huxley asked. "Well, no, it's out of self-preservation," Hook said.
"Just because you rob a few of the Queen's boats and have a crew, a black flag, and come to the cove to drink, this does not make you a pirate. You, sir, are an adventurer. There is nothing wrong with that, but to continue this charade of being a pirate, everyone on the island knows your failings, your lack of piracy, your small ship and crew of misfits."
Captain Huxley let out a sigh. "I have killed over 100 men. I have treasure buried throughout the islands. I have made the 3rd most powerful man in her Royal Navy stand on one leg and wet himself in front of his crew, and he paid me to leave. I am a pirate. You are not. And I just think it would be better off for you and your men to do something else. You're embarrassing the rest of us." "I am doing my best," James said. "Look, I could use your friend there, the big dark-skinned brute. He would be perfect for my 3rd ship, and I can pay him well." "You're trying to hire off my men?" James asked. Some of them are good. The tall fellow may be good for working the ropes. Long limbs, a bit skinny though. I lost 5 men last week to disease and to an ambush. Sure, they are rough around the edges, but I can polish them up. They can be real pirates, Captain Huxley said. Hook looked over to his men as they drank. They were good men, loyal men. I have to think about it. They are good men. But maybe if you showed me how to be a better pirate? Captain Huxley laughed. I am not a teacher. You learn from experience, from hunger, by passion, by fear. It's failures and struggles that make us what we are, not a fancy coat and hat and some gold taken by a raid. Being a pirate is in the blood. It's the love of the hunt, the quest for treasure, the thought of revenge and taking it. It's the thought of being your own man. I am my own man, and I am a pirate. James stood up. Those men are my crew, and that small ship is ours as well. I do not care what people say or think of it. It makes us happy, once in a while, and no one is going to change my mind on this matter. Now many patrons began to drink less and watch as James, the Hair Maiden Hook, addressed one of the most feared men on the cove. Then I guess I will see you out there on the waves of the ocean. Captain Huxley smiled. Hook stood up straighter now and felt a bit more at ease. He began to walk away when Captain Huxley grabbed his arm forcefully and looked up at him. Hook, if you want to be a legendary pirate, where men fear your name, if you want to be what we are, you may go to a dark place, find a fire in you that makes you hate the world and everything in it. You have to go where you are lost and feel like you can never return. You may lose your sanity and humanity at the same time. Fear is not respect, my young friend. It is only fear. Remember that. A good crew, good friends, and the open sea air. That's freedom. My offer for those men of yours will be gone by next nightfall. Think about what is best for them. That's a real leader. Hook let out a sigh. They were words of wisdom, with a backhanded slap of reality. His tone had changed. It was as if James entertained him for a moment. Now go and leave my bar. I hope you make the right decision. James turned and walked past his men. They got up from their corner booth and followed him out the tavern door. Outside, the small band of pirates looked around the docks. At least he didn't kill you, Father Bob said. James let out a sigh. Yeah. Black Jack grabbed his shoulder.
Come now, Captain. We have much to explore and do.
The big man smiled as broad as his shoulders. They pushed James forward, taunting him. Pirates drink and pirates conquer, so let us go do it, the Spaniard said. Fine. Let's go conquer, James said, smiling. His men let out a small cheer, and they walked down the dock.